Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating proposal, one that attempts to literally rewrite the operating system of the entire universe using purely discrete mathematics. We're exploring a framework drawn directly from our source material that replaces standard continuous physics with something profoundly simpler. Yet, it's seemingly capable of creating everything from the foundational building blocks of reality all the way to, well, cotton candy.
So, consider the core question driving this entire analysis. What could standard quantum physics, a cheap $40 cotton candy machine, and the rhythmic beating of your own heart possibly have in common? Our source material posits a mind-bending answer, a theory claiming that the exact same mathematical engine, literally an identical set of discrete counting rules, drives all three of these vastly different systems. To wrap our heads around this fractal reality, we're going to follow a precise structure today. First, a discrete universe. Second, math into matter. Third, spinning living tissue. And finally, number 4, the wearable reality suit.
Let's jump straight into section 1, a discrete universe.
Okay, so standard physics relies on this messy, continuous background where you can just zoom in forever. But the problem is that endless zooming produces mathematical infinities that physicists have to awkwardly subtract out in a process called renormalization. The proposed N1 ontology totally replaces this with a discrete integer lattice. Think of it like clean, step-by-step counting. Because the state space is finite, there are 0 infinities, which means absolutely no need for renormalization.
At the dead center of this discrete universe is one simple number, 60. The framework argues that the universe operates on a Pisano 60 period. You can think of it like a cosmic clock. Instead of stretching out on an infinite timeline, the universe counts up in a specific Fibonacci sequence and then resets precisely after 60 steps. Everything is periodic. The whole universe operates on this exact 60-step loop.
Now, you might be wondering, why is a 60-step loop so powerful? Well, look at the fine structure constant which governs electromagnetism. In standard physics, it's this messy, endless decimal close to 1/137. But according to the source, if you measure the exact growth in decay fractions perfectly over that 60-step integer lattice, you directly derive the exact rational core of 1/137. No continuous approximations, no rounding decimals, just perfect geometric counting generating one of the foundational constants of our universe.
And it gets better, because the framework naturally produces another critical number, 16. If you calculate the mathematical density of moving forward in this 60-step cycle versus moving backward, the ratio is exactly 16:1. The author notes that this represents the Cp asymmetry ratio. That's the fundamental imbalance that explains why our universe favors matter over antimatter and why time literally only flows forward. This brings us to a total game changer called the coherence oracle, or H equals 0. See, in standard physics, quantum collapse is just a total mystery. But in this discrete framework, when a physical state perfectly closes its 60-step cycle, H equals 0, the universe achieves phase law coherence. If the cycle closes perfectly, it exists cleanly. If it doesn't, it breaks down. This lets us drop the whole mysterious idea of quantum collapse entirely, replacing it with a straightforward, binary mathematical check.
Moving right along to section 2, math into matter. So what happens when we apply these highly abstract quantum mechanics to a real-world electrospinning machine used to make nanofibers? The alignment is actually pretty staggering. That coherence oracle we just talked about, where H equals 0, directly translates to a stable polymer jet producing perfect, uniform fibers. If H is anything but 0, the fibers beat up and totally fail. It's a literal process where perfect math directly yields perfect physical threads. Through 5 incredibly precise steps, electrospinning transforms a watery liquid into solid matter exactly according to that N1 formula. You start with a watery sol, apply an electric field based on discrete ratios, the jet forms following the exact step-by-step recurrence, the solvent evaporates into a gel, and boom, you are left with a permanent ceramic-like fiber mat. Interestingly, the author also impartially catalogs specific textual alignments from ancient scripture. Notice how the physical stages of turning a liquid solution into a solid map identically to ancient verses describing creation from an extract of clay turning into clay-like pottery. To be clear, the author isn't presenting this as a religious endorsement. Rather, it's used as evidence of structural invariance, showing that these discrete mathematical stages are so fundamental, they naturally pop up across totally different cognitive and historical domains.
All right, on to section 3, spinning living tissue. Get ready for this.
In a process brilliantly dubbed disappearing candy, scientists melt sugar, spin it into threads, pour gelatin over it, and then simply dissolve the sugar with water. What's left behind is a hollow, perfusible network of actual blood vessels. This absolutely reveals how an everyday cotton candy machine acts as a centrifuge, executing the exact same mathematical recurrences we saw in electrospinning to literally construct living human blood vessel structures in just minutes. And here is where the framework's predictive power truly shines. The math dictates a 19 Hz resonance frequency. If you run that $40 cotton candy machine at exactly a 19 Hz subharmonic, or a pulse and electromagnetic field at that precise rate, it produces biologically perfectly aligned tissue scaffolds that perfectly phase lock with human biology. The math is literally predicting the ideal manufacturing conditions for life itself.
Just think about the irony here for a second. An expensive, multi-thousand-dollar 3D medical printer relies on continuous, floating-point math, the kind that constantly drifts, creates errors, and often fails. Yet, a cheap $40 cotton candy machine dramatically outperforms it. Why? Because the cotton candy machine's natural spinning physics inherently run on the discrete N1 integer recurrence. It is already perfectly operating on the universe's true mathematical operating system. Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, the wearable reality suit. Okay, get ready for a pretty wild parts list. To build this wearable suit, we need non-Newtonian Oblek slime, quantum dots, a brain-computer interface measuring EEG waves, a standard off-the-shelf Raspberry Pi, and literal strawberry DNA. Together, all these seemingly random components combine to create what the author calls the symbiotic steward suit. It's essentially the very first wearable biological computer built specifically to run the universe's N_1 math. Now, every single physical piece of this suit is purposefully built to execute a specific layer of the mathematical physics. The Oblek matrix acts as the continuous field. The OpenBCI headset reads the user's intent to select mathematical gates. The quantum dots physically light up. They fluoresce, giving a real-time visual display when H equals 0, meaning your heart and mind are perfectly coherent. And the strawberry DNA? It provides biological memory storage that naturally aligns with the 60-cycle period.
Tying this whole shebang together is what the framework calls the divine compiler. This is quite literally a Python script running on a $35 Raspberry Pi. Translating ancient phrases like be and it is into a modern code loop, this compiler evaluates your physical coherence in real time. It actually blocks chaotic, unbalanced commands from executing and only triggers a physical output when your mind and body hit that perfectly mathematically sound H equals 0 coherence check.
And listen, the author makes it very clear that this isn't just some fun thought experiment. The framework provides highly specific, falsifiable tests to prove that the suit actively tracks and locks onto human physical resonance. For instance, the quantum dot glow must mathematically correlate with human heart rate variability, or that mechanical flywheels, when spaced according to these exact golden ratios, will magically drop power consumption by exactly 16%, which completely mirrors that CPA symmetry ratio we talked about at the very beginning of the explainer. So it really all boils down to this stunning thesis. What started as profound, highly abstract cosmic math about the shape of the universe has literally been physically built into cheap electronics and slime. It fundamentally reshapes our connection to reality, proving that the deepest operating system of the cosmos isn't some distant thing out of reach. It's something we can actually compute, wear on our bodies, and interact with using everyday materials. We've seen how this discrete integer framework elegantly explains the spinning of galaxies, the creation of artificial blood vessels using literal cotton candy machines, and the mechanics of a wearable brain-computer interface. It leaves us with one incredibly exciting thought. Now that we possess this base 60 decoder ring, what else could this incredible code unlock for our future? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the reality around you.
Wibble wobble bumble put aside my axe, give your butt a couple smacks. Once you let me all up in your lucky, if we'll meet again. Spin the sugar, watch it fly, microfibers in the sky. 60 states, 60 rounds, not a zero to be found. Gain at 1, gain at 16, gain at 40, Robert saying there's sun, roll, fight, not that Greek. Exact fractions we see. I don't want a lemon, Ben and Jerry, bye-bye. Don't you wanna? I don't want a trophy kind of diary, baby. Don't you wanna? I don't want a coconut, a flurry, baby. Don't you wanna mix cotton candy and popsicles? You from Dallas, Texas, right? You must be girl, you look tight. Plus you rock a grip of that. Thank you, slap bass sweetly. Thank you, nothing, let me hit it. True first you'll flee, what famous quote? Whatever that was, we cost me like 30, 50. Shift chick, I'll smack you, call me that. What? Call me slappy, Southwest thug. Sugar love song. Show him what you did to me with your tongue ring and your teeth. On Lolly when in privy, you think I wanna see his dick? Please put your candy down. Let me show your tongue around. Here's my Popsy Clegg, balls, get on your knees and go for yours. Ain't the 60, ring the bell, PDP's a miracle. 7 instructions, no FP, winter girl, I'm disco entry. Waiting on my drug side in the cell. Nickeliner, ring the bell, propane injector, no salt left in variant, no carbon left. I don't want a lemon, Ben and Jerry, baby. Don't you wanna? I don't want a trophy kind of diary, baby. Don't you wanna? I don't want a coconut, a flurry, baby. Don't you wanna mix cotton candy and popsicles? Water washer, sugar's gone. Gelatin holds what we built you upon. The thread was temporary, the vessel stays. That's the one change, void decays. No floating point, no drift, no lie. Rational fraction, watch it fly. Couldn't fire, couldn't the loop repeats from 1 to 60. Close your sweet. I don't want a lemon, Ben and Jerry, baby. Don't you wanna? I don't want a Tropicana diary, baby. Don't you wanna? I don't want a coconut, a flurry, baby. Don't you wanna mix cotton candy and popsicles?